They called him the Sulk, and he wasn't at Arsenal very long, but Nicolas Anelka certainly made an impression. Hello and welcome back to my channel over and over again, where I talk about all things to do with Arsenal. Now this video is going to be the first in a series I'll be doing over the next few weeks, featuring former Arsenal players. This particular player has been in the news recently due to a new film documentary that's recently been released about him on Netflix. Now I wanted to make this video before I've seen the film because I didn't want that to influence my views on him. I just really wanted to go off my own personal memories of him and that kind of stuff. Of course, the player I'm talking about is Nicolas Anelka. Now, Nicolas Anelka joined Arsenal in February 1997 from Paris Saint-Germain. It was just before his 18th birthday, and it was, of course, one of Arsene Wenger's first signings for the club, joining fellow Frenchmen Remy Gard and Patrick Vieira, who had joined the previous year. He only cost £500,000. Young lad. He made his debut. He came as a sub at Chelsea in April 1997. Very skinny kid. He looked quick but very raw. And I don't think any of us were expecting a lot from him, being so young as well. Wasn't expecting him to sort of, burst into the first team much, especially at that time. We had Ian Wright and Dennis Bergkamp as our front two, and there didn't seem to be any reason why, anybody would be able to break that, certainly not an 18-year-old kid. It wasn't until November 1997, in the early part of the following season, that he got his first opportunity to start a game when Dennis Bergkamp was suspended, and he made his first start away at Derby. Now that game actually turned out to be our first league defeat that season. We lost 3-0, and it wasn't a particularly great performance, not just by Anelka but by the team. Now the following week after that game, we played Manchester United, of course, a massive game at the top of the table, and Bergkamp was still suspended, so Anelka again had to start the game alongside Ian Wright up front. But this was the game that he really burst onto the scene, didn't he? He scored the opening goal that day, his first goal for the club, and of course we won the game 3-2. Now, although he'd made such a great impact in that game, it wasn't really until January 1998, when Ian Wright was injured, that Anelka got a sort of steady run in the side. He started a game at Coventry in January and scored again in a 2-2 draw. And then from that point on towards the end of the season, he was playing regularly. He made such an impression that even when Ian Wright was fit again, he couldn't get back into the side because of how well Anelka was playing. And of course, we finished that season brilliantly. We won the league, and Anelka was a big part of that. He actually helped create the goal that won us the game up at Old Trafford in March 1998. It was his header that led to Mark Overmars scoring the winning goal there. Crucial goal that was. And then, of course, after we had sealed the league title, Anelka then, of course, played in and scored in the FA Cup final victory over Newcastle, scored the second goal that day in a 2-0 victory. So his first kind of full season in the side, he'd won the double, scored some really crucial goals as well. And suddenly we realised that we had quite a special talent. He started the following 1998-99 season. He scored in the Charity Shield 3-0 win over Manchester United at Wembley. And that season, he was quite magnificent. He finished top scorer with 19 goals across all competitions. He won the PFA Young Player of the Year award. Literally, his pace was just... the defenders couldn't live with him. And yeah, brilliant season. But he did appear to not be happy when he was playing. He always looked miserable on the pitch. There were rumours that he wasn't getting on with some of his teammates. There were particularly Mark Overmars was one that he was rumoured not to get on with. And always remember, there was one game we played Leicester at home. I think it was about February 1999. We beat Leicester 5-0. Now Anelka scored a hat-trick that day, and his hat-trick goal was laid on a plate for him by Overmars, who got down the wing and sort of squared it to him to tap in. And you could see by the celebration, I mean, Anelka obviously went over to Overmars, but you could almost tell that maybe he didn't get on with him. And it seemed like he seemed like that with a few players, which is why he got the nickname the Sulk, because he just always seemed to be sulking about something. Um, towards the end of that season, there was kind of rumours that he wanted to move. He was unhappy, and in the end, he did. He left for Real Madrid in 1999 in August for £22.3 million, so a massive big profit that we made on him. Um, but he kind of left under a bit of a cloud. He was blaming the British press, and he just didn't seem happy. But as it turned out, it was a good piece of business for Arsenal because first of all, it enabled us to buy Thierry Henry that summer. And of course, we know what a great career Thierry Henry ended up having with Arsenal, and also as well because of the money that we'd made him, we was also able to build a new training ground on the back of it. So that helped Arsene Wenger as well on that side of it. So it proved to be Anelka, although he didn't stay at the club particularly for that long, he certainly made a big impression in the short time he was there. Now, it didn't really work out for him at Real Madrid, and he drifted around a little bit. I know there was talk of his brother, who was his agent, who was maybe a bad influence on him. He did return to the Premier League in, I think it was 2001, when he would join Liverpool. He went to Manchester City after that. Um, and he sort of drifted around a bit. He played for Bolton Wanderers a bit. He did have a good spell at Chelsea, actually, where in 2010 he became the first player to win the league and cup double at two different clubs in England. And he also played for West Brom in England as well. But he had a bit of I'd say, a nomadic career in a way. He didn't really seem to settle anywhere. I say he was probably at Chelsea for the longest, actually. Um, and he ended up playing, I think it was 69 times for France, scored 14 goals. So, overall, he had a good career. He won the Champions League as well with Madrid. So he had a good career, but I sometimes look on him a little bit as um, he didn't fulfil his potential really. So when he won the Young Player of the Year award in 1998-99, at that moment in time, you could have seen him going on and had him a similar influence to that Thierry Henry did. But I just think he was badly advised, possibly. And I know he was called greedy and this and the other, and maybe that's part of it. I'm not sure, but I certainly feel he never fulfilled that potential. But I think as Arsenal fans, we've got quite a lot to be grateful for him in a way. One because of his contribution to the 1998 double season, which was fantastic, and also for the fact that had he stayed in 1999, we probably would not have bought Thierry Henry because Thierry Henry was bought as his replacement. Now I know we'll never know that had Anelka stayed at Arsenal under Arsene Wenger. He did later on admit that he regretted leaving the club when he did. So um, we don't know, do we? Maybe if he had stayed at Arsenal under Arsene Wenger, he could have gone on to be as successful as Thierry Henry possibly and have that sort of a career at Arsenal. But it does seem unlikely. Thierry Henry was a one-off, and we were very fortunate to get him. And we have to maybe thank Anelka or Anelka's brother, whoever it was behind that move, really, because it enabled us to get Thierry Henry in. So we need to be grateful for that. But I more want to just remember his playing time at Arsenal. When I say certainly for a year or so, a year and a half, he was a great young player for us. Brilliant. His pace was obviously his biggest asset. Running in behind, people just defenders couldn't keep with him. And he did have a lot of composure in front of goal as well. He scored some great goals, particularly in that 98-99 season. There was a time when the team was struggling actually for goals as we were defending the double, and it was only Anelka's goals that really kept ticking us over until we had a great finish to the season and almost won the double again. So yeah, I thought we had a good career at Arsenal. It was just short. If he'd stayed a few years longer, I think he would have gone on to be a real legend at the club. But unfortunately, that didn't happen, and he left. And I think overall he had a reasonably good career, didn't he? Throughout all the teams that he played for, he won quite a few trophies. He'll probably be more remembered for what he did with Chelsea, because he was there for a lot longer. Won a few more trophies at Chelsea than he did with us. He was maybe a little bit older and a bit more mature then. I think he won a Golden Boot with Chelsea as well, actually. So, he always scored goals throughout his career. So, I think it's quite important that we remember the role that Anelka played for us in the early years of Arsene Wenger. So I just really wanted to highlight his Arsenal career. So what I'll be doing I'll be watching that film later on this week and see if my thoughts about him change. But you know, for me, he was a good player for Arsenal, and it was maybe a shame he couldn't have stayed a bit longer. So that's that one for today. Coming up again, I'll be looking at some more possible transfer targets. I'm hoping that there may be some exciting transfer news as well coming through in the next day or two as well. Players arriving at the club, which could be quite exciting. So look out for. I'll obviously do some videos on that. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It's a new channel. I'm trying to grow it. I'll be adding new content regularly over the next few weeks as well through the summer and into new season. And then hopefully when the new season starts, I can do a few more maybe live feeds and stuff like that as well from the matches and that kind of thing. So look out for that as well coming soon. But in the meantime, as always, come on, you Gunners.